Greetings everyone. My name is Jamie Fortier and I am here to speak to you about SIDS, Sudden Infant Death Syndrome, which also in the past has been known as crib death or cot death because it typically occurs in the crib while the child is asleep. At one point in time, this also was lumped together with accidental suffocation. That changed in the 1980s because there was an increase in SIDS deaths when that classification was current. The difference between accidental suffocation and SIDS is that with SIDS, oftentimes there is nothing in the crib and there is no explanation, while with accidental suffocation there are items that have created the child to pass away. SIDS is something that is very, very hard for a family, especially a mother, to deal with. There is no explanation. Although there is a lot of research, there is no proven reason for why this occurs. Sometimes it's very hard for people to understand why their child has been the one that this has happened to. So I am here to give you more information so that you can understand why this cause is important. From the years of 1980 to 2010, the SIDS deaths have actually decreased from 153 every 100,000 to 51.6 every 100,000. This has been decreased by numerous methods that we are going to discuss, and there are things that have been proven that do help decrease the chances of this happening. There are things that a woman can do to decrease her chances of her child dying with SIDS while she's actually pregnant. She can do things like getting good prenatal care, including going to her biophysical profile scans if they're needed. Biophysical profile scans are a set of tests that they do. Oftentimes they do them once or twice a week to ensure the safety of the child. They begin with a neonatal stress test, which is where the woman's hooked up to the monitors and they monitor the heart rate, the movement, all of those things of the baby. And then there's an ultrasound, which is scored 1 through 8. The neonatal stress test is 2. You want to score a 6 or above on the test. Ensuring that the woman gets good prenatal care helps so that any problems might be caught ahead of time. Also, the woman can do no drugs and, if possible, quit smoking, because all of those things impact the baby while it's in utero, including smoking. Ultrasounds have recently showed that babies who are in utero while the woman smokes are less likely to have adequate lung function when they come out and are more prone to have respiratory issues. In addition to this, not having a teenage pregnancy can affect whether the child passes away with SIDS. When a teenager gets pregnant, the body is less likely to be able to provide the nutrients for the baby to survive. In addition to this, if the teenager gets pregnant and then has a second child during pregnancy, that child's possible chance of getting SIDS increases by over 60%. After the child's born, the things that the mother can do to help with SIDS are things like breastfeeding. Everybody hears breast is best. Well, it has nothing to do with the actual nutrients that your body provides, because you can actually get a lot of those nutrients through formula now, although not all. But being able to do that helps the baby's ability to be roused. In addition to that, you can also use pacifiers, because pacifiers allow the child to sleep, but yet they continue the sucking motion, so they aren't in such a deep sleep that they're able to pass away if they are at risk. Increasing the child's tummy time, because it gives them the strength to use their forearms and their trunk to be able to raise and to move their head back and forth. And then also make sure that you pay attention to the temperature. Typically, babies that pass away from SIDS are actually known to become overheated. And then when they're overheated, it becomes less likely to rouse them, which then affects the breathing that the child does. If you do not belly sleep your child, meaning putting your child on your stomach, it decreases the chance by 13% of your child passing away from SIDS. More research has been done on SIDS, and it says that there are a few things that can cause it. There are things like abnormalities in the brain. There's actually a chemical that is in the brain that they are researching to find out if it is causing SIDS. They have been researching this chemical for about 5 years now. The other thing that significantly impacts it is if the child is premature. Premature being defined as before 37 weeks. If the child is premature, they're less likely to be able to rouse themselves from the sleep because they don't know how. Their brain doesn't know how to send that signal. Low birth weight can also contribute to SIDS because, once again, that child doesn't have the capability of signaling, when to wake up and when to not. The other thing that affects it is respiratory infections, because when a child has a respiratory infection, it automatically affects their lungs, and it actually can affect the carbon dioxide that is produced, which then can impact the brain and create an issue with SIDS. The final thing that is being done, and it is actually the most promising research, is the inner right ear. There is a possibility that there is a deformation with the inner right ear, which is making it so that when the child goes to sleep, it malfunctions, and then it can't signal the baby to wake up, and the baby simply stops breathing and passes away. This research actually began in 2007 and has significantly been increased because of the promising results. There are higher risk factors for SIDS, the first being boys. Boys are more likely to die from SIDS. Children between the ages of 2 and 3 months, and the risk significantly drops down when the child reaches 6 months. Family history: if you have had a child that has passed away from SIDS in the past, there's a good chance that your next child will be at risk. Secondhand smoke: the child being in a car or around a person who has been smoking or has recently been smoked in, and the child once again being premature. You can always reduce the risk by not smoking. Not bed sharing. Bed sharing being defined as laying in the bed with your child. Co-sleeping is defined as the child sleeping in the room with you. Bed sharing creates the opportunity for the child to get overheated, for the child to somehow end up on its tummy, and therefore increases the risk. Make sure when you place your child in the crib that you limit the items that are in the crib, because there is the chance that the child can get near them or the child can become overheated, which increases the risk for SIDS. And once again, make sure place your child on its back to sleep. Back sleeping is the most important thing. After back sleeping was introduced by the sleep organizations and the SIDS organization, the incidences of SIDS in the United States decreased by 53%, which was a significant decline, which then in turn showed that it does work when you set your child on its back because they're more easily aroused. The sources that I've used are cdc.gov, webmd.com, sids.org, and then finally I have used the Mayo Clinic. I appreciate your paying attention today and your interest in this topic. Please take care of your babies. It's something that's so important, and you never know what you have until you lose it. Thank you. I hope everyone has a wonderful day.